So, I just finished playing the Uncharted games recently, and all I have to say is, holy shit. This whole series is just nuts. Literally, every single game in this franchise had me fumbling my controller as I got thrown into the most bullshit situations I've ever seen in a game. Like, genuinely, I think someone at Naughty Dog headquarters during like a board meeting or something was like, yo, you know those really cool sequences in action movies? Why don't we just make it like those playable? And then they did. These games are just so much fun though, and they just fill me with so much adrenaline when I play them, especially with how they start. So here's how it usually goes. Each game opens up by putting the series protagonist, Nathan Drake, also known as the luckiest guy in all of gaming, into the most batshit crazy scenario. The most insane one, without a doubt, is Uncharted 2. The game literally starts off with Nate hanging off of a train that is about to fall off a cliff. No context is given. God knows how he ended up in that situation, but it got me really invested when I first started playing this game. Like, it's no wonder why this opening is considered to be the best opening in the series. And since everyone already knows that, I'd rather talk about my second favorite opening in the series, that being the one in Uncharted 3. This game starts off with our boys, Nate and Victor goddamn Sullivan, heading to a bar in London. They meet with this guy, Talbot, to make a deal with him, except the money that this guy was giving them was
just phony as a $3 bill.
So naturally, Nate and Sully de-escalate the situation and leave the bar unharmed. Okay, no, they just beat the shit out of everyone there. And with all that being said, I think that this is a great sequence. The bar fight was something that I was not expecting when I first started playing this game, but I ended up really enjoying it. Kicking everybody's ass in the bar felt so badass, especially smashing beer bottles on these guys' heads and then throwing them out of a window, or just breaking a chair on a brute's head. It was so cool. And I also just think the concept of Nate and Sully getting into a bar fight is just really funny because, like, yeah, of course they would get into a bar fight. But what makes this opening really great to me is the set piece. Uncharted 3 has some of my favorite set pieces in the entire franchise, and the pub is no different. Compared to all the like exotic places that you see and that you traverse in the Uncharted series, the bar is a big shift in scenery. It's small, familiar, and hell, dare I say, cozy? I mean, minus the bathroom fight. That was crazy. But it's nothing grand, but I feel the chapter actually benefits from that. If anything, starting the game off with a more scaled down setting keeps the game grounded, and it helps build up to how rambunctious it gets later on. Plus, and I'll get more into this soon, the bar helps match the slower pace that this opening has compared to the other titles in the Uncharted series. And also, the bar just makes for a very cinematic location, and it just makes the whole fight just feel so much more engaging. And also, how this chapter ends with Nate and Sully getting shot, and then immediately transitioning into showing us how Nate and Sully first met 20 years ago, definitely got me invested in what this game had to show me. Plus, we get to see Nate and Sully in a suit for the first time, and like, come on, dude. That's so awesome. Like I said before, compared to the rest of the series, especially its predecessor, Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3 starts out much slower. Instead of Nate being thrown into some random ass situation with like no context given, we actually get to see how the tension is built up through the beginning cutscene until eventually snapping, causing the massive bar fight. And there's no guns, there's no escaping out of falling trains, no ramming into other boats. It's just a good old fashioned bar fight, which is something I honestly really appreciate this game for doing. It's a nice change of pace, and again, like I said before, it helps this game feel more grounded in comparison to the other games. While Uncharted 3's opening was still exhilarating at moments, it wasn't trying to top what Uncharted 2 had already done, which, and I'm going to go on a bit of a side tangent here, is what I feel Uncharted 4's prologue struggled with. That game tried to do the whole crazy situation with zero context, a bit similar to Uncharted 2, but ultimately, it missed the mark due to a few reasons. That being, the situation Nate was in really was not that absurd, and how it was also pretty easy to fill in at least some of the context. Nate is on a boat, he's heading to an island. doesn't really compare to the absurdness of Nate being in a train that's hanging off of a cliff in the middle of the mountains. Anyway, side tangent over. Instead, Uncharted 3 took a different approach, giving us something that was much different to what we were used to, but still managed to stand out among the many intense moments featured within the series. Which I feel just adds to the overall uniqueness that these games hold, and is just why they are so exciting. Now, Uncharted 3's first chapter does have some issues to it, like the clunky melee controls at times, or how this part could honestly be chalked up to just being a glorified button mashing sequence. But it's still a great sequence nonetheless. Even with the slower pace in comparison to that of Uncharted 2 or 4, it still managed to keep me on the edge of my chair as I hit these goons with some lethal ass combos. It got me excited to see what else was to come in the game, and Uncharted 3 in general is a personal favorite of mine in the series. There's so many parts in this game that I just absolutely adore, like the yacht, the caravan, and especially the plane.
Man, how many times am I gonna bring up this damn plane?
So, I wanted to give it some deserved love. And anyways, guys, that's all from me today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please play Uncharted if you haven't. You're not going to regret it. They're so much fun. Yeah, that's about it. So, I'll see you guys later. Bye.